Hello, welcome to visualtutorial.com. Today we'll be looking at stress. Stress in English language. Not stress in general, but stress in English language. So by definition, what is stress? Stress in English language is that syllable in a word or a word in a sentence that is pronounced with greater force than the others. Or you can simply say it is the pitch of the voice in sentence. Full stop. You can as well say it is a pitch of the voice in a sentence. So, let's say for example, we have one like composition. So this word has how many syllables? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 syllables in this word. So they are not pronounced at the same rate. It's not the same force you apply to this, or the remaining one that you apply. So if you pronounce, you realize that when you get a particular syllable here, your voice will go up. And for this one, you say composition. When you take a look at it, you realize that this has a higher pitch, or the amount of force used in pronouncing this is higher than the rest of them. Or you can hum it. I normally give people this hint. You can hum it as well, like See that when you got here, the rest are When your voice goes up, that is the stress. But that only works when you know how to pronounce the word correctly. If not, you won't get it right. So So it's Z. This is where the word is stress. This is just an example. So the next thing I want us to do is to go to the types of stress before we go to the rules of stress. We have types and we have rules of stress as well. Okay. So types of stress. There are different types of stress based on the classification. You can classify the stress based on their structure, or based on the definition here, because we said a syllable in a word, or word in a sentence. So you can classify them based on this, or you can classify them based on where they appear. So let's start. Number 1, we have primary stress. Number 2, we have secondary stress. We have stress syllables. Most people say we have tertiary stress, but we're not going that far because there's always a controversy between that. Then these are group of stress. But you can see I have another one as 1. Tonic stress. 2. We have emphatic stress. We have contrastive stress and new information stress. We have primary stress, secondary stress, unstressed syllables. Those are can be classified based on this, or you can as well say we have tonic stress, emphatic stress, contrastive stress, and new information stress. So let's start from this group. This primary stress, primary stress is the syllable in the word that receives the greater amount of stress. A syllable in a word that receives a greater amount of stress. Remember the word we wrote composition. This is the primary stress because it receives the greatest amount of force, or the pitch of the voice in this is higher than any other one here. That is why this is the primary stress. The secondary stress, you see that most time when you pronounce a word, you realize that there's a particular syllable that is almost giving you as high pitch as the primary stress. That means you pronounce a word, you see that a particular word is a syllable that has a higher pitch again, a high pitch, but not as high as the first one. That becomes the secondary stress. Mostly, it's primary stress that is always the bone of contention, or whatever you are required to go after. Unstressed syllables are syllables that are not always stressed. Unstressed syllables are syllables that are not always stressed. They only go for the schwa sound, S-C-H-W-A. This sound is called schwa sound. It's not always stressed. You can't stress the schwa sound. For example, we have E-N-O-U-G-H. It can be translated as this is schwa sound, N-E-N. This is enough. This cannot be stressed. Like photograph, 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 photograph. That P-H-O, the other T-O, like P-H-O-T-O-G-R-A-P-H. You can't stress this because it is a schwa sound. Most of the sound, mostly for this, is example of an unstressed syllable. So, if we go further, we'll go to the next one, which is tonic stress. Tonic stress is simply word stress. Sorry, syllabic stress. Tonic stress is syllabic stress. Like I wrote communication. When you stress a syllable, that is called tonic stress. Emphatic stress is a particular word. This time around is not a syllable, a whole word in a sentence that is being emphasized on. Like Mr. Joseph is a teacher, and I decide to put teacher in capital letter to show that that is a point of emphasis. It means Mr. Joseph is not a farmer. Mr. Joseph is not a driver. Mr. Joseph is not an engineer. Mr. Joseph is who? A teacher. You are, a point of emphasis is teacher. So that is where you have a emphatic stress. Mostly come out in WAEC or less WAEC. You can see it in JAM. You can see it also in NECO and so on. Even some international examination, you see stress there a lot, because stress can change the meaning of the word to you. You may be asking yourself, what is the essence of this? The essence is that the way you stress a word changes the meaning. When we get to the rules of stress, you see how you can stress a word wrongly and it changes the meaning from A to B. So, another one is contrastive stress. Contrastive stress, the word contrast, that means it's almost like emphatic stress, but just that it doesn't go the same because it's not in the equation. When you stress a particular one, it is this car, not that. The contrast, this, not that. That is a contrast. You are showing the contrast, pointing out that this is what you are talking about, and this is different from this. This is what this is. That is a contrast, the difference. Now, new information stress is when you actually emphasize on a particular word. You understand? You say, this is used for writing. Everybody will hear. Maybe it's a particular student or someone have not seen this before, and they ask you, what is this? You say, this is a marker. The person still asks, what is a marker? You say, a marker is used for writing. That writing now, you stress it. So that is new information. You're giving them a new information to work with. So, let's go over to the rules of stress. Now, before we move on to the rules of stress, there's something I would like to point out. Types of syllables. We have I am pointing this out for you for a certain reason. Monosyllabic words are words that have just one syllable each, like come, go, see, you, etc. That they cannot be broken down into come, go, see, you, me, he, she, him, game, play, and so on. Now, disyllabic words that have two or more syllables, mostly two, like teacher, 1, 2, comma, father, 1, 2, comma, read the, 1, 2, read the. So you see that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just 1, 1, 1. Then multi, as the word implies, or holy, from 3 and so on. You have position. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, 2, 1, 4. 1, 1, 1. So I brought this out because it will now aid us into learning the what we call rules of stress. What are the rules you need to follow in order to get your stress right? So that's what we're going to now. Now, rule 1. Words of one syllable do not have syllabic What does that mean? You cannot stress calm. You can't break it into two. You cannot stress gain. You can't break it into two. Because we are talking of syllabic stress now, not emphatic stress. You can't break this into two to stress. So that is what we mean by that. Now, that is rule 1. Let's go to rule 2. Rule 2. For words of two syllables bracket. Now, verbs adjectives. Then now verbs adjectives. Comma. Stress the first syllable. If the noun and if the noun, comma, second syllable is a verb but an adjective verbs. So, this is a rule 2. You stress the word in the first syllable if the word is a noun, or you stress it in the second syllable if the word is a verb. And let me explain that. So I wrote some list of words down. I would like to copy them now. So this is a noun, N-O-U-N, and this is a verb, V-E-R, rule a line here, rule a line here. So for a noun, so the part that is meant to be stressed, I will put it in capital later. But if it were, I will explain to you, if you were to look for it was the particular point where a word is stressed in the dictionary, I will show you how. But for now, let's for example we have belt, and the same way we'll have number 2 we have here we have three, four, five, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 'Okay. How to put those words? Remember when I said the way you stress a word can change the meaning? Yes. This is a typical example. So I will say you should stress the first syllable if a noun, second syllable if a verb. So if the question I think you might be willing to ask now is, how do you know if they mean the word is a verb or a noun? It depends on the question. Depends on the question. If you read from the context, you know, or if it's set in exams, something like this kind of word, they'll put in bracket, they can write it, put the letter N, small letter N in front in the bracket to show you this is a noun. Or they put the small letter V to show you it is a verb. So when you see N is noun, V is verb. So clues like that come up in most questions. So this is conduct, your behavior, your attitude. Conduct is to organize, control, and direct. Imports, the things that are brought, tangible things that are brought to the country. Imports, the action, which is a verb. Verb is an action or a doing word, of taking, of bringing in goods. Present, tangible gifts, which is a noun, name of any person, animal, place, thing, concept, or idea. The thing, the gift. Present, this is it. Then present, an action, act of giving, show. Then project, the job given to do. Maybe the project I was given is to produce a marker. Project, to show it to us. Louder, speak louder, or bring it out. Let's see it clearly, hear it clearly. Object, this is an object, concrete now. Object is to say no to, or disagree with, or against, to be against something. You object. Then insult, abstract noun. Insult, an action of giving this abstract noun. Convict, a human being. Convict, like ex-convict, or once convicted, like a criminal. Convict, the act of sentencing that person. Contrast, that difference. Contrast, the act of doing it. So instead of saying conduct, if you say conduct, you change the meaning from this to this. You say spelling, but the stress differentiates the meaning from either a noun to a verb back to a noun. I'll attach this video with a Google quiz where you can answer some questions to prove that you understood the topic. Now, this is not the only rule, this is just the rule 2. Now, let's go for rule 3. For row 3, I-O-N, I-A-N, I-C-S, I-A, I-O-U-S, I-C, E-T-C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, 6. Any word that ends with this, most words, not any word, most, let's say 80% and above words that end with this, except for some specific words, there are conditions to most of these rules. Those words are stressed from the second syllable, that means starting from the end of the word. I think I have some words here. We have number 1, call, new, ni, pay, shin. Remember I said from the end of the word, you can't, once it ends with you can't 1, 2. This is your stress. If you can't hum it, this is what it's stress. There are more rules to that. For example, for words that end with the stress here, that is for this. New, zig, you shan, stress here. That is for this. Can't want to stress it here because of this. This want to stress it here. Or stress it there. Stress it here as well. The same thing applies to this, and this. So we have another one. For words that end in A-T-E, A-B-L-E, E-R-Y. This one, you stress the third syllable from the end of the word. This time you will not count 1, 2, you count 1, 2, 3. For example, we have read. So the 1, 2, 3. See where you stress it here. Then the next one, you can go for something like call, read. This one 1, 2, 3. The stress now will be here. Remember, communication, because it ended with I-O-N, we did 1, 2. Now this one ends with A-T is 1, 2, 3. Communication. This is where you stress it. The same thing goes for this, and this. So that is how you get the stress. Then other words that, not just this, there are more that go with this. In our next video, we will discuss that. Then other words that end with E, comma, O, N, comma, Q, U, E. This one, you stress it right there. Like, let's say, G, U, A. You stress it at T, guarantee, say to the T, E, E. Then when you go for another one, like let's say, no, E. Nominee to be here, absentee, guarantee, employee. You stress it at that E, like unique. E, Q-U-E. Well, just label unique. Just as nick, unique. Okay. Q-U-E, that is where your stress is. The same thing goes for this, and this. There are more like that. So in our next video, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In our next video, we'll go to more of the rules. There are still rules that there are still rules that may be different from this. If you go further, you realize that when a word has, at the same time, when a word ends with the same prefix that we have displayed so far, at times if the word is 4 syllables, the stress will change. The word is 5 syllables, the stress again will still change. So we'll explain that in our next video. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If there's any topic you will still want us to treat, put it in the comment section.